Hey guys, in this video I wanna share my thoughts about Octopath Traveler 2. Was it worth playing? Was it overhyped? Let's find out. And for this I will be going in the usual topics: story, gameplay, graphics, and music. The story is quite complex and basic regarding some topics. Every character is going to have a specific story, and this game capitalizes on that a lot, because the stories are quite packed with different twists, but that doesn't mean it is perfect, because unfortunately, people will want to have a deeper connection between characters. I also had that idea, and if we compare the first game, where there was pretty much no connection between them, Octopath Traveler 2 improved a tiny bit on this end, with cross paths. But just because they have a couple of chapters where they have small conversations or small interactions with each other, doesn't mean you have fulfilled something really important: companionship. And that is something a bit disappointing, because you will only see a couple of chapters where they have a kind of real interaction. That of course happens because this game focuses much more in each character's story, but that is also the reason why it feels a bit bland on that end. It is like casual NPCs follow each other, because that is just about the kind of relationship they have in general. That is the kind of negative part of the story. Nonetheless, something I wanna point out is that some of these small conversations were refreshing and hilarious, as the characters have quite unique personalities. As I mentioned at the beginning, every character is packed with interesting stories. Some are way better than others, but that just shows how these stories go. Revenge, legends, kingship, memories, freedom, happiness, hope, and truth. Every character has a development. Some much more interesting and complex, some others take the classic stereotypes, but I found them really entertaining, and that last chapter to close the overall story was quite interesting. I'll say it is an 8. There are several things that could have been improved, but in general I enjoy it a lot. If you ask me, from left to right is how I would arrange their stories, how impactful and entertaining were to me. For the gameplay, it is fulfilling a particular role so well, and that is giving the classic RPG vibe. You go from town to town developing a bit of the story. Of course, way prior to that, the game asks you which one is going to be the main protagonist of this general story. And that is quite important because every character has unique skills and weapons. Just keep that in mind. But to be honest, unless you wanna have something like the perfect gameplay, I wouldn't mind that too much. I chose the character I like the most in total randomness and pressed on the journey. Once you have done that, you will see the first chapter of that character, and once that is done, you are pretty much free to recruit the other characters, which I also did in total randomness. Something that made stress the heck out of yourself is that the random encounters are so much that you will fight a lot. You take a couple of steps and you get an encounter, another couple of steps and another encounter. Rinse and repeat to the point where you either go mad or you enjoy the journey. Here's where your team composition is going to be something really important, because if you don't take the time to balance it, you will have a really hard time. Also, if you just focus on a couple of characters, you'll want to knock the heck out of yourself, because you need all of them to be in a decent shape. I won't spoil it, but here, just so you know, there are a couple of fights where you will need 8 characters. Now, was the game hard? In my humble opinion, just the beginning, while getting used to the different mechanics of charging attacks, breaking enemies, and going all out on them. Once I got the general idea, around level 16 or so, the experience was smoother. I never had the need to farm or something like that. For sure there are bosses that can wreck your team real fast, but never to a point where I was going crazy. Something to notice is that some of these bosses feel like they have a freaking lot of HP, but to be fair, I never really cared about using the most optimal team, and luckily, when my characters aligned really well against some of them, I could beat them in no time. But that is part of the experience. Something that I like a lot is that I never felt lost while playing this game, because it hints a lot at everything, what you have to do and how you can obtain some key items. It is not as intrusive as taking you by the hand, but it points you in the direction where you have to go. I really enjoyed the experience, but this is not going to be everybody's cup of tea. If you like traditional RPGs, yep, it's going to be for you. Otherwise, I'll say stay away from it. To me, the gameplay is a 9. Really solid. Usually in the graphics, I like to check the creativity of enemy design, general performance and stuff like that. What I can say about this game is that just once, it didn't load the right textures, and it was a quite fun experience because I was able to see the treasure locations. However, after a tragic end, the game loaded everything right. Aside from that, to me the game is a feast to the eye. I am not a fan of pixelated art, but when it is done right, I am amazed by it. And all the little details that the game shows are extraordinary. To me, the only negative point regarding this is that the high random encounter doesn't let you appreciate the whole scenery as I would have liked. However, it was a beautiful experience. Environment, fights, the special moves that the characters have while executing maxed out attacks, all those details. Even when I was playing at an increased speed, I was able to appreciate all of those little things. The general enemy design was also quite cool. I enjoy it when the enemies have a kind of progression from small enemies up to a big freaking monster. Maybe something tiring is that these enemies repeat after a while. To me, it is another 8. And last but not least, the freaking music. Oh my god. When a video game has metal, rock, orchestral, some funny clown tracks, I love the heck out of it. As Octopath Traveler 1, Octopath Traveler 2 has an extraordinary soundtrack. Going into those boss fights was a whole experience to me. The game has extraordinary composition wherever you go. The different themes, all those combat tracks, the different areas. Not every track is perfect, but a lot of them are really good. Yasunori Nishiki did a terrific work. A freaking 10 to me. Octopath Traveler 2 is an 8.7. Definitely an extraordinary game. I repeat it, it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but for those looking for a good challenge, extraordinary music and entertaining gameplay, this game is going to be for you. If you like this video, please give it a like, share and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.